That's not live, yeah. I thought I decided on who I wanted as a striker. It's Adam Plosek. That's the kid all the way. I know little or nothing about any of them. So I've got to do my research. And I've been looking at me Simbas and me Sambas and me Dias and me Dakas. So I've started to scratch a little bit below the surface and have a little look at me Armstrongs. And it was Luke messaged me, Luke Malden, and he said, do a video on Adam Armstrong. So, okay, I'll do a video on Adam Armstrong. But I thought we'll upcycle the video really and make it the wider picture and talk about the strikers and invite Tommy along, which I've done as well. Armstrong's a funny one. So I've had a look, Luke, in answer to your question. I've had a look. I was not unaware of this striker. He was at Newcastle and rapid is what I would say. Very, very quick. I've not seen much of him since then. So I think as the video entitled it, every goal Adam Armstrong has ever scored. So I've seen it. I know. I'm now an Adam Armstrong expert. What do I think of the player? Well, he's still rapid. He's very, very quick. He shapes the ball really well. Shoots well. He can curl the ball like nobody else. Bend it like Armstrong, as they say. Really good player. Shoots quickly. If I had to say reminded me of anybody, it reminds me of Jermaine Defoe a little bit. And by that, he doesn't require much space to score his goals. He shoots really early, so I think he's surprising the goalkeeper a lot of the time. And a lot of his goals that I noticed start outside of the goal and he curls them inwards. Predominantly right-footed, although I did see some left-footed goals. Seems to be able to pull wide as well. Wouldn't quite call him a winger. But in that respect, I think he possibly ticks a box for us and ticks a box for David Moyes probably. Because that's really what he wants his striker to do, pull wide a bit and create a goal threat. Where I think he also adds to the team is in the counter-attack, which I've been very vocal about in the past, which is we don't play to our strengths sometimes, which is sitting back, soaking up the pressure, hitting on the counter-attack. If you're going to do that, then as you are soaking up the pressure, as is everybody's habit, the opposing team get closer and closer to your goal and their defence gets further and further away from theirs. Create space at the back. You want someone fast to run into it. Just don't feel we have that. Unless Antonio is at the top of his game and he's a rapid best, I don't mean with the pace that he's showing when he's coming back from injury, then we don't exploit that very well. Someone like Armstrong would tick those boxes. However, there was one little thing that I just couldn't escape every time I was watching him. And that is he's small. Now, David Moyes does have form for buying a small striker. And that was Andy Johnson. And I believe he broke Everton's transfer record to buy him. And he bought him from Crystal Palace. You may well remember him. I think he might have even got an England cap or two. He had even less hair than Tommy. And he did play for Everton and he played well, but I don't know. Even though I was trying to justify that in my mind, I couldn't get away from the fact that Moyes does like a big lump. And for that reason, I find it hard to believe that we will go and sign him. Ticks all the boxes from the Championship, which we know Moyes likes. So Moyes will know a lot more about him than a lot of these other players that have been mentioned. However, I do find it, Luke, in answer to your question, I do. This has basically been a message to Luke the first 4 minutes of this video. Good player, really like him. Think he would benefit West Ham in a lot of ways. Find it quite hard to believe. Anyway, that's my little rant. That's my 2 pence. I've got Tommy with me. Tommy, thank you for sitting patiently while I spoke about Adam Bendit like Beckham Armstrong, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, good. Back to work, thank God, after my period of self-isolation, which wasn't much fun. So back to work this week. So the form is on the up.
Your form and West Ham's form?
West Ham's, I hope. We'll see. But it should, hopefully, given the next couple of fixtures, I'd like to think we've got a real chance of 6 points there. So hopefully West Ham's form on the up too. I think the way the league's going, actually, you kind of have to win a couple of games back to back fairly regularly, or you find yourself just sneaking backwards slowly but surely. I think Villa even have got 2 games in hand. I think Villa are crazy. Could they go third potentially if they win both games in hand or something like that? It's kind of crazy at the moment. But yeah, we need to keep winning games regularly. I know, like, as a club, we don't generally go on huge win streaks where we'll win 4 or 5 games on the bounce. But as long as our season is peppered with regular wins, then I think a top 10 finish is on, yeah.
Well, that's what I think happens, and the reverse also true. We don't go on long losing streaks either. As I say, I've still yet to do the video. I promise I'm going to do it, but I've got to check the stats, which is we don't lose back-to-back games under Moyes. I need to check that out. Right, going to these games, because sort of sticking on the striker subject. Obviously, you've watched the cup game in a week, because I saw you on the chat on the videos anyway. What do you think's going to happen? Talk to us a little bit about the striker situation, but we have Burnley. Then I think we play Burnley on Saturday. Then I don't know why I'm waving sort of an unbent paperclip. I use this. Do you know what I use this for? I use this because I couldn't get my SIM card out my phone. And when you buy a phone, you get one of these to get the SIM card out, didn't you? I'd lost it, so I've made my own. That's like a life hack, Tommy. That's like a life hack. That is. That's for free for anybody that's watching.
It's like you're like MacGyver.
I am.
The English MacGyver.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
MacGyver.
Yeah. Oh, the A team used to do that, didn't they? As well. I think the A team spawned MacGyver. I think they used to watch the people that made MacGyver watch the A team. You know, the A team would get locked in a garage, wouldn't they? And then somehow they managed to build a tank.
Yeah, for some reason, every week people would like lock them in a shed full of welding equipment and
that's right,
and toolboxes and stuff. And,
that's right.
And some old farm machinery and
it was. Yeah, and they would build a jet fighter. Yeah. Absolutely. Which, of course, they would have to drug Murdoch to get him in. They would get him to a burger laced with drugs, I guess, to put him to sleep so as they could put him in the jet fighter. Oh, happy days. You youngsters don't know what you're missing with the A-team, but yes, I am a lot like the A-team and very much like MacGyver. Well, I can't.
Hey, you know what you can do with that when you're done with it?
Don't be rude.
No. No, I promise. This will still be. You'll still be able to post this. I swear.
Thank you.
There was a guy, no word of a lie. You can look this up on YouTube, who started out with a paperclip and traded all the way up to a house.
I didn't. I read the story. I read the story in the newspaper. Yeah, I'll give it a go. I think I'm more likely to turn it into a tank with some welding equipment, quite frankly. But both are.
You don't have to aim for a house. What if you were somehow able to trade it up for a season ticket or something?
Maybe. I think the paperclip is probably at the moment worth more than a season ticket. I have a feeling. I'll put it this way: I have a feeling, even though I didn't take the refund, I put my money that was carried over into this year's season ticket. I have a feeling that money's going to be carried over again. I have a feeling I'll neither get the money nor will I ever get the season ticket. I have a feeling that maybe in a couple of years' time, when West Ham's average attendance, because of COVID and whatnot, is 35,000, some bright spark might say, maybe we should have just stayed at the bowling. Anyway.
You'll be finally getting back to watch West Ham looking like poor old Mabel.
I will, bless her. On the next games, Tommy, what do you think is going to happen? Saturday, Tuesday. Let's just say all we've got is hobbling old Mikel Antonio. Probably still stuck. He's probably still stuck in the mud in Stockport. But if they manage to prize him out of the mud, what on earth are we going to do with those 2 games in terms of the striker? He can't play both games.
Yeah, well, obviously, like I say, we've got a 3 p.m. game Saturday, and then we've got a Tuesday evening game against West Brom.
Which is factor in the travel as well. I think home for Burnley. I think away for West Brom, so up to the Midlands.
Yeah, that game is on BT Sport, by the way, for anyone who's interested. You see, here's the thing. I think Moyes is going to play in both games. I know honestly, I know we say, oh, you can't play 90 minutes both games. I think that's exactly what Moyes is going to do. He's done it before. He doesn't seem to have any issue with playing Mikel Antonio for 90 minutes every game. Now, unfortunately, it tends to lead to him becoming injured eventually. But like you say, right now, Moyes does not have options. I don't think there's any other player at the club that he trusts to play up top. I suppose the ideal scenario would be if we were comfortable against Burnley. For example, maybe we're a couple of goals up with 20 minutes to go. And he might just say, right, let's just chuck Yarmolenko up top for 20 minutes, give Antonio those 20 minutes off, and then start him again on Tuesday evening. Or possibly Odebeko, who I assume will have to be on the bench unless he's planning on not having an out-and-out striker on the bench, which isn't beyond Moyes either. But I think the potential.
You heard his comments about the false nine, or finding a system, or finding a striker. Did you heard that? I take it.
I didn't. I was working, so I could probably miss that.
I think he alluded to the fact we might well have to find a system where we don't play a striker, or we search for a striker from within the club that is currently playing another position in the way that he did with Arnautovic and Antonio.
There isn't one.
Not
that would suit what he wants. I mean, it was interesting. I agree with you on Adam Armstrong. I think, a fine goal scorer, but I don't think he's a kind of forward that Moyes is looking for. I don't think he's looking for someone diminutive to play up top. I think he wants someone who can challenge in the air, score some headers. He's going to need someone 6 foot plus, which is why I think that also rules Bowen from being converted to a number 9. I know he's capable of playing up top, but I don't think Moyes is going to put him there. So I think there is no one really at the club suited to be converted. Arnautovic was made for it. Antonio was made for it. No one else is. So I suspect he's going to have to buy a striker if he wants to play with an out-and-out number 9. Not sure I like the idea of this false 9 business. I would still rather have a proper number 9 up top. I know we've been linked with a few. And I do think we'll buy one. I do think we will buy a proper number 9. And I think it will likely be one of the ones we've been closely linked with already. And hopefully soon. We don't want to be leaving this till the end of the window again.
Yeah, I mean, I think, people are. I don't know how many of these. I do know how many, because you said you haven't seen that much of quite a few of them. The rumours coming out today that the chosen one, so to speak, is Boulaye Dia, who's the chap in France. I say the chap in France. I do wonder if priorities have changed, because it's funny, if you were buying anything, if you were buying, even if you were buying a car, you'd weigh things up. There might be a Ford, there might be a Volkswagen, they might be similar price, but your decision will be made on that price. If it actually turned out that just as you were getting to the point of buying, the Ford was $5,000 less than the rest, you might probably immediately change. Your decision would change, right? And I do think with the television deal in France collapsing, it might force the issue a little bit. Whereas they might have made their decision, and then you've got somebody like, David Sullivan, not somebody like David Sullivan, exactly David Sullivan, who would then turn around to David Moyes and say, well, look, hold on a second. You may have identified your guy, but one of the guys that was on our shortlist now, who we thought was going to be 20 million, is probably going to be closer to 12. This is the deal I want to do, just because I just wonder how much that would change the dynamic, mate.
Yeah, well, I suppose, just to use your car analogy, it just depends on your financial situation, doesn't it? If you've got money to burn, you don't care about.
No, you get a Rolls Royce,
yeah. You get the best car you can get. But that's not our situation, unfortunately. Money is tight, and we are on a strict budget. So, unfortunately, it does come into it. I mean, I'd like to think that we would just go get the player that David Moyes believes best suits the club and will do the best job for the club. But I don't think that is the situation. I think you're absolutely right. I think if it's... I know there's this guy, Daka, in Austria.
Have you seen how quick he is?
Yeah. He looks lightning. Was that clip Dia or Daka? I think it was Dia, wasn't it?
What
that was the lightning quick guy.
Where he ran faster than Forrest Gump and fell over?
Yeah, when he knocked the ball.
That was that. We don't need him to stand up. Falling over is funny. I mean, funny enough. Sorry, just to interrupt there. So the guy Dia, here's a funny thing. The guy Dia, I've watched these clips. I've watched all their clips. He looks like he's constantly. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's constantly struggling for his balance. He looks like he's on the cusp of falling over constantly. And a lot of these, like, he'll play his final pass when he's falling over. He'll shoot as he's falling over. Even the overhead kick that everybody is going mad about, I think he misconnected with it, and I think he actually fell over during the overhead kick. We're just armed with that information. I just wonder if anybody go back and watch Boulaye Dia's montage on YouTube now, with that in mind, that he looks like he's about to fall over and does fall over. You might look at him and think, oh, actually, yeah, he does. The irony is Daka doesn't look like he is going to fall over, but in his best clip, he does fall over. But he is absolutely rapid. He's not quite a Bugatti, but at the moment, we don't really need a Bugatti. What we would do with like a pimped up Vauxhall Corsa with a nitrous oxide kit with skirts and a big spoiler and some fluffy dice. That would do us at the moment, just as long as, and that's what. Actually, I've probably been unfair in comparing to a pimped up, buoyed up Vauxhall Corsa, but of course it'll be an Opel Corsa for you, Tommy, over there, right?
Yeah, a hot hatch. We need a hot hatch.
A hot hatch. I think he's a hot hatch. That 17-year-old's got. You know, it's got the neon lights, it's got the wheels, it's got all the stuff, but it's got the it's got all that going on. I think he's got a bit of that, and actually, that might just do us. But you've seen the clip. You like what you saw there?
Yeah. Obviously, look, I haven't obviously seen either of these guys play on a regular basis or anything, so I have to plead ignorance on much of this. But I think the important thing for me really is that we get the right style of player. So I think from what you're saying, I quite like the sound of this Daka guy, if only for, I think strength is going to come into it. Physical strength, upper body strength. I think that's clearly something that David Moyes values.
Yeah.
You know, so if Daka has an advantage over Dia in that he's more physically imposing,
yeah,
they do sound like hot hatches, don't they?
Well,
the new Ford. Do you want the new Ford Daka? You know, or do you want the Fiat Dia?
The Daka's the four-wheel drive. I think the Daka's the four-wheel drive. Yeah. You're leaving out the estate or the station wagon for our American viewers, which is the Toyota Simmer, the Toyota Abdullah Simmer, who is at
that Toyota Simmer, kind of like, you know, it's a very nice looking car.
It's very long. It's very long. Yeah.
It's very streamlined.
Well,
whereas you know the Ford Daka looks like it has a bit more grunt. It's a thicker, heftier looking car, you know.
Yeah, well, the Simmer, it looks slightly disproportionate from what I've seen of the Simmer. It's got a very, very long bonnet. Not much boot space, and he's a weird looking player, mate. He reminds me of Patrick Vieira. He looks like his legs are twice the size of the rest of him. But he is
gangly.
He is gangly. He wins a lot of balls in the air, which would obviously tick that box, and he's doing very well. Hold on, get your Pragues right. If you get your Pragues wrong, you get told off. He's at Slavia Prague.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, I just for me, it's more important. Look, whether we get Sima, Daka, Dia,
Hakuna Matata,
and by the way, I'm actually completely shocked. In all your striker talk, I haven't heard a single Dembele anywhere.
I've gone off him.
Can't believe it.
I've gone off all of them.
He's upset you.
Well, they can't all have upset me.
Is this you? Like when you were young, like if you asked a girl on a date and she kind of blew you off and she wasn't especially nice about it.
If a girl on a date,
hate women, bloody hate girls. Don't like any of them.
If a girl went on a date with me and then she blew me off, that was a good date, Tommy. I got to say. I was always disappointed if I went on a date with a girl and found out she was called Dembele. Though I got to say, because it probably meant she was a bloke, and I got more than I bargained for.
But different times when I was young, Gonzo.
Yeah, it's
No, you were.
all about the Traores for me now, mate.
When I was young, you were delighted if you got to feel a little bit of thigh.
Well, well, absolutely, Tommy. But that's how I know you're a reserved lot in Ireland. To be fair,
Yeah, we're very Catholic. Very
but
Catholic. Yeah,
you are indeed.
yeah, yeah.
With
You had to get.
you're very Irish. Yeah, I mean, your top me any more Irish. It's got O'Neill's on it and says Tipperary and some Celtic Gaelic scribble on it, my friend. And it's green.
Green and white, yeah.
Did you go for the wardrobe? I am going to get the most Irish top I can possibly find.
No, not deliberately.
Mm.
There's a whole story behind this, which I might tell you when we're done with the video. But
Please do. Well, we're going to link up. We're going to link up, and we're going to link up. What are we going to do? What we're going to do? We're going to talk about Felipe Anderson, aren't we? Which will be tomorrow's video.
Yeah, I really wanted to
I know you
talk
want to
about
talk
Felipe,
about that, which
yeah.
can be interesting. Probably before we do that, we're probably going to sing a verse of the Irish Rover, all the verses of the Irish Rover.
Anyway, look, in a nutshell, strikers, as long as he has the right stuff, right? So we have to have someone with pace. That's non-negotiable.
Mm.
I think we have to have someone who's going to be good in the air because we do like to knock a cross in. And I would like to see someone who's going to be able to hold the ball up as well. So not asking for much, just strong, good in the air, quick, and obviously someone who can finish, which is where you and I might fall out about Adama Traore, by the way. He's got everything else. I'm not sure about his aerial prowess in the box. Obviously, he's big and strong, he's fast, but I think his finishing is really suspect. I think he's another kind of Antonio in that respect. He'll probably balloon some shots from the edge of the box up into row Z, but
he's a lot more skillful than Antonio, to be fair. And I would say he's small. He's small and strong. And did you know he's a quarter Irish?
Wow, really?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say that's.
His grandmother. Mary O'Traore. He could qualify for Ireland to play for Ireland.
Yeah, there's a Traore family down the road here, local name.
And if next door to the Dembélés. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you obviously you know the area, but
yeah, they never get on. They keep fighting, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, but well, they used to, but then we had that Traore Dembele marriage.
It sorts it all out, doesn't it? It's like West Side Story.
I'll tell you what, the first team that finds a player somewhere in Africa called Traore Dembele, like with that double-barrel surname, he's going to be the greatest player that's ever lived.
He has to be. He absolutely has to be, particularly if his first name is Neville. Right. Anyway, let's leave it there. Let's go and talk about Felipe Anderson. You lot, we'll see you tomorrow. You never guess what we're going to be talking about. Felipe Anderson.